Satya Nadella, CEO of the grand Microsoft, has officially decided that the real problem with AI isn't the output, it's the word we use to describe it. AI slop apparently has run its course. Not because the slop is gone, guys, but because the branding needs work. In a reflective post on his SN Scratchpad, Satya Nadella laid out his vision for AI heading into 2026. Big ideas, big words, big promises. The kind that sounds reassuring.
If you don't look too closely at what's actually happening on the ground.
And look, guys, I'm not here to argue his intentions. No, not at all. I'm just here to argue his words. Because what Satya says AI should be and how Microsoft is actually deploying it are two very different stories. So let's go through what he said, line by line, and see how it holds up in the real world. So for this video, I'll be using my annoying high-toned voice to represent Satya.
As I reflect on the past year and look toward the one ahead, there is no question 2026 will be a pivotal year for AI. Yes, another one, but this moment feels different in a few notable ways.
Please, Mr. Satya, do explain how this year will be different for AI. I mean, will it cause 9,000 more employees to lose their jobs as you invest $80 billion in huge data centers to train AI? Or maybe a modest 6,000 employees this time? I mean, hey, listen, you're opening new roles, which really sounds cool. But since you had the money to invest in these huge data centers, couldn't you have invested a bit more, kept and trained those employees, and retained them alongside their loyalty? Food for thought. Pivotal indeed. I'm guessing this year you're going with 20,000 employees? Just a guess, I mean, nothing more. If I were you, though, I'd rethink that word pivotal. Moving on.
We have moved past the initial phase of discovery and are entering a phase of widespread diffusion. We are beginning to distinguish between spectacle and substance. We now have a clearer sense of where the tech is headed, but also the harder and more important question of how to shape its impact on the world.
So, maybe this year you'll give us Windows 11 quarter-baked instead of it being delivered with half-baked freaking AI features? I mean, this is what you mean when you want to distinguish between spectacle and substance, right? With the obvious suspect, none other than the infamous Copilot, which found its... Oh my goodness, it literally found its way into every single application and possibly your own bathroom while taking a finishing your business. Or maybe this year you'll bombard us with new features every month that doesn't give us room to learn before sending out the next one. Or simply decides to show up whenever it wants to. I actually think I got your whole spectacle and substance thingy. Nice words, buddy. Nice words.
We are still in the opening miles of a marathon. Much remains unpredictable. Amidst this model overhang where capability is outpacing our current ability to use it to have real-world impact, this is some of what we still need to get right.
So, when you say that much remains unpredictable, are you referring to your investments in OpenAI? Or are we referring to the part where you've poured tens of billions into models that keep getting smarter while nobody's quite sure what they're actually supposed to do at scale without breaking freaking things? Because you say model overhang like it's some abstract technical hurdle. But what I really think it means is the tech is running faster than the use cases, the guardrails, and the freaking consequences. You're admitting that capability is outpacing real-world impact after you've already shipped it to consumers, businesses, schools, developers, basically everyone with a Windows license. If, like you say, much remains unpredictable, why are the users the ones living with the unpredictability? Why are consumers discovering the limits, the bugs, the risks, and the walkbacks in real time instead of Microsoft figuring that out before rollout? Calling it the opening miles of a marathon doesn't make it safer. It just means we're all running while you're still mapping the freaking course. Ooh, now it's getting interesting. We're getting to the points.
A new concept that evolves bicycles for the mind such that we always think of AI as a scaffolding for human potential versus a substitute. What matters is not the power of any given model, but how people choose to apply it to achieve their goals. We need to get beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication and develop a new equilibrium in terms of our theory of the mind that accounts for human being equipped with these new cognitive amplifier tools as we relate to each other. This is the product design question we need to debate and answer.
Ah, yes. Bicycles for the mind. I was wondering how long it would take before we pulled the Steve Jobs quote. Because, guys, listen. Calling AI a bicycle for the mind actually sounds really inspirational. Until you realize bicycles don't pedal themselves. What Microsoft is shipping doesn't feel like scaffolding for human potential. It feels like automation by default, with humans expected to keep up or get the freak out of the way. You say AI shouldn't be a substitute, yet it's constantly marketed as something that writes for you, summarizes for you, decides for you, and nowadays increasingly thinks for you. Is it really scaffolding or delegating? I sounded like Aristotle there. And when you say what matters is not the power of the model but how people choose to apply it, you wanna be real? How much choice do we actually have? When Copilot shows up everywhere by default, when AI suggestions are not suggestions anymore, when opting out feels like swimming freaking upstream, this isn't us choosing how to apply AI. This is us relying on AI. This is us saying we can't live without AI. And this whole slop versus sophistication thing, you don't solve that by inventing a new theory of the mind. You solve it by shipping products that don't feel half finished, intrusive, or unfreaking necessary. You can't philosophize your way out of our frustration. Whew, calm down. Let's be civilized here. Whoosah!
We will evolve from models to systems when it comes to deploying AI for real world impact. We have learned a lot in terms of how to both keep riding the exponentials of model capabilities while also accounting for the jagged edges. We are now entering a phase where we build the rich scaffolds that orchestrate multiple models and agents, account for memory and entitlements, enable rich and safe tool use. This is the engineering sophistication we must continue to build to get value out of AI in the real world.
Right. So translated out of the executive dialect, what you're saying is the models weren't enough, so now we're stacking more systems on top to make them usable. That actually sounds like progress. Right, guys? Oh, wait. Here is the thing though. I can't believe this almost slipped my mind. Wouldn't every added layer also add new failure points? Because if I'm not mistaken, guys, systems with memory and agents only work if permissions are airtight, memory is trustworthy, users understand what's happening under the hood. And right now, consumers are still confused about what data is stored, what's optional, and what's just, well, there, I guess. Calling it engineering sophistication doesn't magically make it safe. It just means the complexity moved from the model to the user experience. And if the goal is real world impact, maybe that impact shouldn't feel like people are beta testing a system that's still learning how to behave. Don't you think so?
And lastly, we need to make deliberate choices on how we diffuse this technology in the world as a solution to the challenges of people and planet. For AI to have societal permission, it must have real-world eval impact. The choices we make about where we apply our scarce energy, compute, and talent resources will matter. This is the socio-technical issue we need to build consensus around.
Oh, Mr. Satya, that almost sounded responsible. Almost. Your execution, though, says otherwise. Because, listen, while Microsoft talks about scarce energy and compute, it's also expanding massive data centers at record speed, increasing overall emissions instead of reducing them, and prioritizing AI infrastructure spending over human talent retention, as we've mentioned earlier. Literally the definition of scale first, justify later. Welcome to the army, MS Edition. And this idea of the societal permission, it's actually really interesting because permission usually implies consent. Am I right? Yet, most consumers didn't opt into AI being embedded across their operating system, productivity tools, and workflows. It just arrived via freaking updates. You don't get to earn societal permission with vision statements. You earn it when people feel that technology improves their lives without asking them to absorb the risk, costs, and confusion first. I mean, do you honestly expect us to just say yes without knowing what we're saying yes to?
Ultimately, the most meaningful measure of progress is the outcomes for each of us. It will be a messy process of discovery, like all technology and product development always is. Computing throughout its history has been about empowering people and organizations to achieve more, and AI must follow the same path. If we do that, it can become one of the most profound waves of computing yet. This is what I hope we will collectively push for in 2026 and beyond.
Messy process of discovery? Don't you mean messier? Discovery is what you do before you roll something out to hundreds of millions of people. What you're describing isn't discovery, it's damage control. with better vocabulary. And when you say outcomes for each of us, that's doing a lot of heavy lifting, because for a lot of users, the outcome so far has been more pop-ups, more confusion, and more things they didn't ask for. Computing empowered people when it gave them control, not when it constantly nudged them towards tools they didn't choose and features they didn't freaking need. You can go ahead and call it the next profound wave of computing, and maybe, just maybe, one day it will be. But right now, it feels less like empowerment and more like we're being told to trust the wave while it's freaking still crashing over us. So gamers and gamerettes, how do we relate this to gaming? Well, let me tell you how. Everything Satya just described, scaffolding, systems, messy discovery, diffusion, already exists in gaming. And not as a theory, but as freaking scars. When executives say AI won't replace humans, it will assist them, gamers hear this. First it helps, then it speeds things up, then it cuts costs. Then suddenly the human is the freaking bottleneck. We've already watched this happen with live service pipelines, procedural content, engagement-driven design, and good enough content shipped faster instead of freaking better. That's why gamers flinch when they hear bicycles for the mind, because in games, bicycles turn into going to the gym real fast, and the gym is our worst enemy. Long live 10 straight hours gaming and screw fitness. Anyways, then there is the whole messy process of discovery excuse. We are professional beta testers at this point. We've been told for years, the launch was rough, but give it time. The roadmap will fix it. We're listening. We're listening to your feedback. Now imagine that exact mentality, but powered by AI systems that adapt in real time. Dynamic difficulty, adaptive monetization, NPCs tuned for retention. Experimentation indeed. And we are the lab rats. And when Satya talks about systems with memory and agents, gamers don't think immersive worlds. They think tracking behavior, optimizing engagement, nudging playstyles, and squeezing more hours per user. Because we've already seen what happens when design decisions stop being about joy and start being about metrics. Now let's talk about consent. We did not consent to AI-generated art replacing artists mid-project, AI-written dialogue in premium games, AI moderation nuking accounts with no appeal, AI anti-cheat false positives locking people out of games they freaking paid for. That's why, guys, that's why we are freaking skeptical. Not because we hate the technology, but because we've been the first group to feel what happens when technology is deployed before it's ready. So when Satya says AI will be one of the most profound waves of computing yet, they roll their eyes because they've heard this pitch before, right before another live service pivot, right before another we'll fix it post-launch, right before another system that promises empowerment but delivers control. If AI is the future, gaming will show us first whether it empowers creativity or just optimizes it to death. And right now, gamers are just tired of running in the illusion of a gym called AI slop. What do you guys think about this? Are you optimistic for 2026 and strongly feel it will favor humans, or will AI continue doing what it does best, which is annoying the freak out of us? Drop your thoughts down below.
And I will give Satya a call, say AI stop, and hang up.
And guys, thank you once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content in the future. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.